The 1st of September, 1939, Poland. German forces cross the Polish border without a declaration of war, and the attack begins with extreme violence. From the first hours, this is not only a military invasion, but a racial war. Towns and villages are bombed, civilians are shot in the streets, and people fleeing on the roads are treated as enemies. The aim is not just to defeat the Polish army, but to destroy Poland as a nation. The Nazi regime views Poles as racially inferior and plans to destroy them through terror and mass arrests. Lists prepared in advance are used to target teachers, priests, officials, and community leaders. Soon, thousands of them are murdered. Alongside the invasion, Nazi Germany begins creating a network of camps across occupied territory. These camps are designed to intimidate, isolate, and break entire populations through forced labor, starvation, violence, and murder. They do not function on their own, but depend on thousands of perpetrators who carry out daily abuse as routine work. Men and women are drawn into this system through ideology, obedience, and opportunity, learning to dominate and kill without restraint. One of these perpetrators is a young woman who will later become notorious among inmates for her cruelty. Prisoner testimonies will remember her as the beautiful Spectre and Mad Jenny. Her name is Jenny-Wanda Barkmann. Jenny-Wanda Barkmann was born on the 30th of May, 1922 in the city of Hamburg in Germany. Her father worked as a dock laborer in Hamburg's harbor, while her mother remained at home. Like many families of the working class, the Barkmann household struggled to survive during the years of economic instability that plagued the Weimar Republic, the name given to the German government between the end of the imperial period in 1918 and the beginning of Nazi Germany in 1933. Inflation destroyed savings, unemployment spread, and political extremism grew. As a child, Jenny appeared unremarkable. She attended school, played with dolls, and spent hours daydreaming. She dreamed of becoming an actress or a model, imagining a life of admiration and beauty far removed from hardship and poverty of her hometown. There is no evidence of early violence, cruelty, or political radicalism in her childhood. When Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party came into power in January 1933, Barkmann was 10 years old. From that moment onward, German society changed rapidly and fundamentally. The Nazi regime soon transformed daily life through propaganda, surveillance, and terror. Independent political parties were destroyed, trade unions were crushed, and opponents were imprisoned in concentration camps or murdered. Nazi ideology was part of every aspect of public and private life in Germany. Newspapers, radio, films, and posters glorified violence, obedience, racial hierarchy, and loyalty to the Nazi idea and state. Schools became tools of indoctrination, and children were taught to admire strength, discipline, and ruthlessness, while empathy and independent thought were discouraged as weaknesses. Barkmann absorbed these ideas as part of everyday reality. After completing elementary school, she found work in a pastry shop, a low-paid job that offered little independence, no status, and no large prospects in the future. But soon, everything changed. When the Second World War started, on the 1st of September 1939, Barkmann was 17 years old. The German invasion of Poland marked the beginning of a war of annihilation in Eastern Europe. On the 2nd of September 1939, only one day after the invasion, Nazi Germany established the Stutthof concentration camp, making it the first German concentration camp built outside German borders in World War II. The camp was located in a wooded and marshy area east of Danzig, today's Gdańsk in Poland. First, it was created as part of a broader campaign of terror aimed at destroying Polish elites, clergy, intellectuals, and anyone considered capable of resistance. But during the war, it expanded. Conditions inside Stutthof were brutal. Prisoners were reduced to numbers and stripped of all dignity. Food rations were intentionally insufficient, causing slow starvation and death of the inmates. Medical care was virtually non-existent, and prisoners worked long hours under constant violence, beatings, and humiliation. Disease spread rapidly in overcrowded barracks. Executions were carried out randomly, and fear became a permanent state of existence. In 1943, the camp expanded significantly. New barracks were constructed, electrified barbed wire fences were erected, and watchtowers ensured total control. Infrastructure for systematic killing was added. A crematorium and a gas chamber were built, and in June 1944, Stutthof was incorporated into the final solution, the Nazi plan to exterminate the Jews of Europe. Zyklon B gas was used to murder prisoners deemed unfit for labor, including women and children. The gas chamber could kill up to 150 people at a time. Camp doctors murdered sick and injured prisoners with lethal injections of phenol. Typhus epidemics swept through the camp, killing thousands weakened by hunger and exhaustion. By the end of the war, Stutthof had grown into a vast system of 105 subcamps spread across northern and central German-occupied Poland. Prisoners were exploited as slave labor in factories, shipyards, farms, and construction sites. More than 100,000 people passed through the Stutthof camp system, and at least 60,000 of them died from gassing, starvation, disease, executions, forced labor, and evacuation marches. In January 1944, the 21-year-old Bachmann volunteered to join the SS, the Nazi paramilitary organization, and became a female concentration camp guard at the women's subcamp Stutthof SK3. During training, SS instructors explicitly told guards not to feel pity for prisoners, whom they described as racially inferior. Guards were encouraged to assert dominance through violence and the humiliation of the inmates. Bachmann entered a system designed to destroy empathy and reward brutality. At Stutthof, she quickly became known for extreme violence. Survivors later testified that Bachmann beat women with her bare hands, sticks, and whips, sometimes until the death of the inmate. She participated in selections, sending women and children to their deaths in the gas chamber. She punished prisoners for asking for food, moving too slowly, speaking out of turn, or simply attracting her attention. Later, Bachmann also confessed, "We in the SS used to hold specially long open-air roll calls in the winter so that the female prisoners would freeze, and indeed, many of them died. We were dressed warmly, so we endured the harsh frosts." A former Stutthof prisoner, Maria Schenberg, testified that she saw Bachmann beating the female prisoners while they were bathing. Another Stutthof survivor named Savitska recalled, "I once asked her if I could take a potato lying on the floor of the barn with me. I should add that she was off duty that day. In response, she hit me in the face with her hand and beat me over the head with a stick." She also beat into unconsciousness my friend Jutta, who wanted to take some potatoes from the basement. Jutta died the next day. There were hundreds of such examples. Because of the contrast between her youthful appearance and her cruelty, prisoners gave her nicknames. Some called her Mad Jenny. Others called her the Beautiful Spectre. Though she served at Stutthof for a relatively short time, the intensity of her violence ensured that prisoners remembered her clearly long after the camp ceased to exist. In January 1945, as Soviet forces advanced into northern Poland, the SS began evacuating Stutthof and its subcamps. Nearly 50,000 prisoners were forced onto death marches in freezing winter conditions. Thousands were shot along the roads, drowned in the Baltic Sea, or left to die from exhaustion and exposure. Bachmann fled the camp already in January 1945, months before liberation, and went into hiding in Danzig, avoiding capture for several months. In May 1945, she was arrested at a railway station by Polish authorities. During her first interrogation, Bachmann claimed she had treated prisoners well and even helped them. Testimonies of survivors would soon expose these statements as lies. Bachmann was tried at the First Stutthof Trial, which began on the 25th of April 1946, in the city of Gdańsk, freshly incorporated to the post-war Poland. Dozens of former prisoners testified against her, describing beatings, selections, deaths, and the terror she inflicted. Even her own defense lawyer admitted her guilt, arguing only that she was mentally ill, saying that no one sane could commit such atrocities as she did. Throughout the proceedings, Bachmann appeared indifferent and detached. She wore fashionable clothes, changed hairstyles daily, flirted with guards, and laughed with fellow defendants. She showed no remorse regarding her crimes. When the trial ended on the 31st of May, 1946, 11 defendants, convicted of crimes against humanity, were sentenced to death by hanging. Among them were 5 women. While 4 of them, Wanda Klaff, Gerda Steinhoff, Elisabeth Becker, and Eva Paradis, cried and pleaded for their lives. Only one, Jenny-Wanda Barkmann, who celebrated her 24th birthday the day before, remained calm. After being found guilty, she did not beg for forgiveness, nor shed tears or show remorse. She only remarked, "Life is indeed a pleasure, and pleasures are usually short." When on the 4th of July 1946, 11 Nazi criminals from the Stutthof concentration camp, including Jenny-Wanda Barkmann, were hanged from the gallows, Biskupia Górka hill experienced a real siege. 200,000 people were watching. Punctually at 5 p.m., 11 open trucks brought the prisoners to the execution ground, their hands and legs tied with cords. 6 men and 5 women stood on the platforms as the trucks were positioned beneath the gallows. Former prisoners of Stutthof, wearing striped camp uniforms, volunteered to serve as executioners and placed simple rope nooses around the prisoners' necks. The execution was planned in such a way that after each truck would be driven forward, the 11 convicts were left suspended and their bodies would not fall from too great a height. As a result, the nooses did not break their necks and did not cause an instant death. Death came slowly by strangulation, lasting between 10 and 20 minutes for each of the 11 prisoners. When Jenny-Wanda Barkmann was hanged, she was 24 years old. After the execution, it was rumored that once Bachmann's body was cremated, her ashes were taken to Hamburg and dumped into the toilet of the apartment where she had been born. However, this was not true. Instead, the bodies of those executed were taken to the Medical University of Gdańsk to be used as a teaching aid in anatomy classes.
Thanks for watching the World History Channel. Be sure to like and subscribe, and click the bell notification icon so you don't miss our next episodes. We thank you, and we'll see you next time on the channel.